Hello, gorgeous souls. Another warm and sunny day. Can't complain. So today, let's talk about childhood wounds and how you can actually heal them. I'm not like an expert on this, but from my own personal experience, I mean, last week I had like a very intense healing session with one of my spiritual masters, and I got to tell you about this before we jump into. So I was working on healing one of my childhood wounds because of it's kind of like a recurring thing we kind of see in North America, or in the West in general, a lot of divorce, right? Not a lot of couples or families stick together for the long term, right? And it creates a lot of pain for a lot of children, because children, they're so innocent, right? They don't know what's going on, so their only reference point is their ego. If they're past, like, they're 7 years old, their only reference point is going to be their ego, and even younger sometimes, right? They see the parents splitting up, right? And I mean, sometimes it's a good thing, right? Sometimes it's a really, really toxic relationship, and I understand why, but it still creates a lot of pain to the children. And it happened to me too. I was the oldest of a family of 3. I have a sister 2 years younger than me, and I have a little brother 4 years younger than me. I was the oldest at the time, and I was 7 years old, and my parents divorced. And my childhood self was very heartbroken. And that happens with a lot of people, even unconsciously. They don't even realize it. And they keep these wounds for most of their lives, and it keeps hunting them. Right? So last week I had a big healing session regarding my own childhood wounds, and try to heal that part of myself that I haven't fully, I guess, forgave my father, I guess, maybe subconsciously, even though we talked and everything was fine. But I guess there was still just a little bit of my childhood self was still holding on to a little bit of anger, towards what happened to me. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason in life. And if it happened, it made you who you are now. If that did happen when you were younger, you wouldn't be who you are now, right? Everything happens for a reason. Even though it's a very sad thing, and I don't think couples should ever break up, and should really take their time, right, to know the person deeply before getting married, and before getting into a really deep relationship with someone. You got to know that person. You got to know it's the right person. And that's why a lot of people are heartbroken, going left and right with different partners, and they don't find satisfaction, right? But anyways, usually it always stems from childhood wounds, from a father or a mother figure that was absent. And basically, when I went to my healing session last week, it was quite intense. I was shaking on the table. And and it was kind of funny, right? How the universe works, and how synchronicity and everything is always connected, right? And once you start to dig deeper in synchronicities and everything, and start to get more accustomed to them, then you start to understand the messages Spirit sends to you. You start to understand what the message of the universe sometimes is to you, for your life, for your future, for whatever you have to do in this present moment, to help guide you sometimes. And basically, so my trick, okay, for childhood, my trick, I guess it's what I learned from last week. but basically take a picture, okay? Take a picture of when you're young, when you're a lot younger. Let's say your parents split up or something, or you have like some sort of remorse, or there's still a part of you that haven't fully forgiven one of your parents, you know. You gotta heal that, okay? It's important. You don't want to keep any emotions. Emotions are dead weight for the spirit, and the more you hold on to these emotions, they're just gonna, drag you down, and eventually they might surface, and then you might, get out of control anger just because you haven't fixed your previous issue you had back in the past, right? So the sooner you heal your past wounds, whatever they are, it doesn't even need to be a childhood wound, but a lot of people, it's kind of a recurring theme. So take a picture of when you're young, okay? When you were, let's say your parents split up, take a picture around that time, okay? And look at your child self, okay? And try to picture that image of your child self and remember it, okay? And picture it in your mind, okay? And then what you want to do, you want to close your eyes. You want to picture, while you have your eyes closed, that childhood self of yours, right? And you speak to him, okay? You imagine he's or her is right next to you, okay? And just like you're a big brother or big sister, right? To your own childhood self, as if you're a third person, right? So you speak to your child self, right? And you forgive him or her. You forgive completely that child. You give it, you give that child unconditional love, okay? And you look at that child, and it can be emotional sometimes. It can be, some emotions might come up, but that's important, okay? If some emotions are about to pop up as you do this exercise, right? And you try to heal that childhood, that child self of yours that may be wounded, it's going to be important, okay? It's going to be important to talk to that child, okay? So you can close your eyes and look at that child. Picture that child, speak to it. I'm sorry. I love you. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. You are loved. You are loved unconditionally. You are. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And let's say, okay, so let's say your anger, whatever, or your emotion hasn't come out yet, then you can go a step further and feel the emotion that you resented or that you buried deep inside because you didn't want to feel it, right? You didn't want to explore that shadow self of yours. So you put yourself into this child or your own past child self shoes, and you feel how that child was feeling. Feel all the emotions that comes up. And that's why the pictures is important. It can help with the subconscious to picture yourself back into that moment. And so do some counseling sessions with your childhood self. No joke, okay? It may look completely stupid and completely but I'm telling you guys, like, this shit works, okay? Try it. I'm not joking, okay? I've learned that, like, for me, I pay some extra money, for my teacher to help me, heal some of my own wounds, but I still have like another 2 big sessions on the table. But healing your past doesn't have any price, in my opinion. It doesn't. Because if you're happy inside, this is priceless. This is priceless, okay? It's worth all the gold and the money in the world. Okay, so heal your childhood selves, my friend, and think about that. Another thing that's kind of important, I guess, with these wounds and everything, is to definitely clear up the space with your own parents, right? You talk to them. You make sure that there's communication going, right? and that at least, even though you may still, you know, some people may still be broken or whatever, you got to get past that. You got to get past that, and you got to forgive that person, that parent of yours. Okay, you got to forgive them. And sometimes it's not always, you know, they don't control all the circumstances, but anyways, it happened. It's too late. Okay, so at this point, it's better to focus on healing, right? So you want to heal your own past child self, but you also want to heal the potential scar that may still be there from you know, from between you and your parents, or one of your parents. Okay, so yeah, you want to talk to them, you want to fix that, right? And be okay and cool, and that, you know, everything is said. You don't keep anything inside, right? If you keep anything inside, that's when things go south. So, oh yeah, the other thing, when it's kind of funny because the synchronicities, like, I was randomly looking at my childhood self picture. I randomly stumbled upon it the same morning I was having my healing session, right? What are the odds? Right? And I didn't even do it consciously. That's the thing, right? So that's just to show you the magic of the universe. Everything happens for a reason, and you gotta forgive. You gotta forgive your past self, okay? You gotta get past all this dirt from the past. You don't hold on to anything. You stick to the present moment. Have a great day. Much love and namaste. Oh, hear the birds?